Okay, in this video, we are going to talk about how to validate input from our user, right? So we've been starting to use Scanner to have the user input information, but we want to make sure that they enter valid information, right? So this is a perfect example for conditionals because we want to say if they enter something valid, then say okay. Otherwise, we could say, hey, you need to, enter the right information or whatever it is. So a simple example is if we ask for age, they shouldn't enter something like Sammy, or I guess a more realistic one might be, I mean, believe me, a user could do that. They could just misread it and enter their name instead of their age, but they might enter like 16 or something like that. So we want to be able to like handle all these weird cases, right? And the one I think we talked a little bit about this in class is, back when I did this as a program, I definitely had to think about this. So like, when I asked them for shipping charges, again, they one time they charged like millions of dollars to a customer, and then their customer got irate, and then they blamed me because I didn't validate the input. So you have to like make sure your user doesn't enter something stupid. So that's what this lesson is going to be about: is to make sure that they enter valid information. Before we get into that, I do have a warm-up question, kind of a review of some of the stuff we've been doing lately. So your job is to pause the video here and think through these conditional statements, and then we'll go on to do input validation. Give these a shot. All right, so what's going on here on the first one is we've got 5 for x here, and we've got 7 for y. So that's not true. 5 is not greater than 7, but this one could also be true. So x could not be not equal to 6, which is true. 5 is not equal to 6. So this is going to be run. So this if runs, which means this else is out down here. All right, and then inside of there we've got another if, so we know we're inside of these curly braces, but now we've got to decide x plus y, is that greater than 12? And it's not, right? 12 is not greater than 12, so that means the if is false, so this line isn't going to run, meaning this one will, the else will run, and so it's going to print Superman for number 1. Number 2, so this is what's called that short circuit evaluation. So basically, whenever you divide, you want to make sure you don't divide by 0. So that's what they're doing here, is they're saying, hey, if total points is not equal to 0, and when we divide, we're greater than or equal to 65, right? So basically, what we want to do is actually flip-flop these, right? Because the way short circuit evaluation works is if I flip-flop them, it'll check the one on the left first. So it would check this one first to say, is total points not equal to 0? And if that is true, then it'll run the second part of the AND, right? And it kind of comes from the fact that if it were false, so if it were equal to 0, we'd have false and something, and it's not even going to bother checking the something because the whole thing's going to be false. So if you flip-flop them and check this first, then the only way you'll ever divide is if this is true, if it's not equal to 0, right? And that's called short circuit evaluation. So the way it's written now, you could get a divide by 0 situation, and so in order to remedy that situation, we should change the order in this if conditional statement. Flip them around, flip the two parts around in the AND. All right, so the first program I'm going to work on here with you, and I definitely would load up Eclipse or whatever you use for an editor here and actually do the code with me, right? And kind of like you can pause it and try some of the code and then unpause it to see if you have the right idea. So the first one we're going to do is input validate, and this is literally what you do every day at lunch. I think you have a 5-digit PIN. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5, but basically we want to make sure that they actually enter 5 digits. So maybe they mess up and enter only 4, or they double type 1 so they enter 6, right? So we want to validate to see that they actually entered a PIN that is 5 digits long. All right, so here's sort of the setup for this lunch PIN number 1. We want to ask the user to enter their lunch number, so we're going to need scanner, and we want to make sure that that length is 5, all right, and respond appropriately. Again, I would encourage you to do this setup, right? Do this setup in your editor, get the main and get the scanner and stuff all set up, and then try some of the code, right, before unpausing to check your answer with what I have. Okay, so again, hopefully you've tried it, right? You've got your code set up here. So with scanner, the first thing we want to do, we got to ask the user for their lunch number. So we need to do a system out print of please enter your lunch number. Okay, and then we're going to scan that from them. So here I would probably do an int, right? So their int, their pin number, and I would just do then scanner dot next int, right? And there'd be other ways to do this. We could actually sort of treat it as a string. That might actually be easier in some ways, but we'll just treat it as an int for now, right? So now I've got their pin, okay, and I want to make sure that it's 5 long, right? So I guess the thing to think about here is, like, if you think about a 5-digit number, right, the smallest one you could have would be, I think, 10,000, right? If I take out the comma, we don't want to do commas, but basically that's the smallest, right? That's 5 digits, and then the biggest they could have is all 9s, right? So those are the only 5-digit numbers that are possible, from 10,000 to 999,000. No, 99,999. Need to do an if, basically. So if that pin is between those two, so it has to be greater than or equal to 10,000 and less than or equal to 5 9s. Okay, and if that's true, then we're going to say, hey, nice work, you. Otherwise, we're going to say, right, we're going to say, well, you didn't do it right. So we're going to say, this is from John McEnroe. You cannot be serious. Enter a 5-digit pin. One time McEnroe got mad at the ref and said you can't be serious about one of his calls. So we'll say you can't be serious. You got to know 5-digit pin. All right. So let's give that a shot. All right, let's try. You could try your own lunch pin or whatever, but I don't even know what mine is. I never eat hot lunch. But let's say I just entered 34. It's gonna get mad. So let's try a valid 5-digit pin here. So that looks good. And then let's try one that's too long. Right, so we can see that it pretty much is working okay for us. All right, so every year I get tons of questions about this one because this is a really interesting program. So see if you can pause the video and see if you can find some ways to improve this or some problems with this, right? So go ahead and take a look and see if you can, make some improvements or figure out what might not be great about this program at this point. Like, what are we not thinking of? Okay, so one thing I get a question about a lot is, well, what about if they start with a 0, right? I'm not sure how our lunch pins work, but maybe you could have a pin that's like that. And I think if you do this, it's going to fail, even though they did enter 5 digits. Okay, so if that's the case, there's a couple ways to handle this, right? One is a trick that's probably going to come up fairly often, is you can turn their pin into a string and then check to see that that length is 5. All right, so basically what I do is I'm going to do a string called string pin, which is the string, the pin turned into a string. And a pretty handy trick is if you go double quote like you would for a string, and then add either an int or a double here, it'll automatically turn this into a string. So it's kind of a hokey, weird trick, but basically doing this will turn this int into a string. Okay, and now that we've got it as a string, we could do if string pin dot length equals 5. Right? If the length they typed is 5, then we can say nice work. Otherwise, we can get mad at them. All right, so now let's see if this works still. That worked okay. Let's try 5-1. Right, so it seems to be working decently doing it this way. Okay, and obviously you could have just changed this to be next line, so you could actually just treat it as a string, right? Change this to a string variable and do that right from the start. That would have been a way to do it, but I thought at least I would show you this converting to string trick because it'll probably come up in some of the programs that you're writing. Okay, so that should take care of the 0. Actually, we should test the 0 case with zeros in the front. Oh no. Oh no, it still chopped it off. So yeah, it looks like it must be chopping the int here. And then when we change this into a string, it's not working. So ugh, that's a pain. So maybe our only real option then is to do scanner dot next line here, and then just don't even do this. Okay, so let's see if that'll work. Try 0. I'm gonna try a bunch of zeros at the start. Okay, and that looks like it's working. All right, so some other issues here. One is, I think a good rule of thumb here is to help the user out. So please enter your, if we say 5-digit lunch number, right? That might help them remember that you need to enter 5 digits. Okay, so that's another fix that I think is pretty smart in your programs, is try to make it easy for your users, easy as possible, right? One other one that I get asked, I think the way this would actually work is you'd want to like keep doing this until they get it right. All right, and so this is something that we haven't quite done yet, but I thought I'd preview it here in this video because I get asked about it every year. Okay, and so the deal here is you want to keep going until they enter the right one. So that's called a loop. And so basically we want to loop while they haven't entered something that's length 5. Okay, so basically I'm going to take my code and I'm going to put it all inside of a loop. Right, so I'm going to do, up here I'm going to do what's called while their string pin dot length. Okay, and while they've entered something bad, so while it's not equal to 5, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep asking them for their pin, scanning for their pin, and then giving them a response. Okay, so now it'll just run this code over and over and over again because I'm inside of this while loop, right? And I indented it one level so that all of this is part of the while loop. Okay, and so the only problem now is it's saying string pin doesn't exist because I don't create it till down here. Okay, so kind of what I would do is, I don't want to scan it till down here anyways, but you can do like string pin, and then just give it like a default value that's wrong, so that if I just do that, it'll automatically go into this while because string pin is not length 5. Okay, so I'm just going to make it something so it goes into the loop, and then down here, I don't need to declare a string anymore. I can just override it with whatever they enter. All right, so now we've got a nice handy little loop that it'll keep going, right? So I can kind of run it here and show you what's happening. So if they enter something invalid, right, it'll say you cannot be serious, right? And then it'll get to the end of here and go back and check and say, hey, we're not 5, right? So now we'll try again. Oh, still didn't get it right. So we're still looping over and over and over again. And so it'll keep going until they enter something right. So it says, hey, nice work. And then it comes back up here and checks again, but now it's actually the right thing. So it is done at that point. All right, that's it. So this is just an example. We used a conditional there, which we had never used. And also just practiced writing an if, right? So this is called input validation, and it's really good use of an if.